Have you ever found yourself in the midst of a conversation and your gaze is dropping to the floor or darting to the side? It's a common tactic for many, but have you ever wondered why that is? In today's video, we are going to better understand the eye contact avoidance phenomenon and its implications on anxiety and problem solving. Now, to understand why the brain does this, we need to explore a concept called salience. Picture this. You're walking through a forest and suddenly, you spot a snake. Your heart races, your palms sweat, you're on high alert. Now that snake has become the most salient, or significant, thing in your environment. In simple terms, salience is how much something stands out to us, whether it's because it's threatening, rewarding, or just plain unusual. It's like having a neon sign in a dimly lit room. Your attention is automatically drawn to it. In the context of anxiety, the more salient a threat is, the more anxious we feel. When we're anxious, our brains act like overzealous security guards, constantly on the lookout for potential threats in our environment. In social situations, this could be the gaze of another person. Typically, we perceive such eye contact as threatening due to one of four potential reasons: the fear of rejection, discomfort with intimacy, sensory overload, or a deeply rooted preoccupation with avoiding mistakes. Interestingly, even newborns show sensitivity to eye contact, underscoring how integral it is to our social interactions right from the very beginning of our lives. Let's take a closer look at these four reasons. Firstly, there's the fear of rejection. This is an ingrained fear many of us carry around, often dating back to our earliest social experiences. In the wild, being rejected by your social group meant isolation and, well, becoming dinner for predators.
He is lost. He ran away.
This primal fear can make us ultra-sensitive to signs of social rejection, such as a disapproving look. Next up, we have the discomfort with intimacy. Eye contact is incredibly intimate. After all, it's often said that the eyes are the windows to the soul. For some people, holding someone's gaze can feel almost as intimate as a physical touch. This could stem from personal boundaries, past traumas, or social conditioning. The third reason revolves around sensory overload. For some individuals, particularly those on the autism spectrum or with sensory processing disorders, eye contact can feel overwhelming. It's not just about the person's gaze, it's about processing the multitude of facial expressions, the person's tone, their body language, and more, all at once. It can be too much for the brain to handle comfortably.
Mainly overloads and circuit burnouts.
Finally, there's the preoccupation with avoiding mistakes. For those of us who might identify as perfectionists or who have a fear of making mistakes, meeting someone's gaze can be intimidating. It's as if you're under a microscope, with each and every blink or eye twitch being scrutinized. In reality, the other person is likely not paying attention to such minute details, but the anxiety can make it feel otherwise. All of these factors crank up the brightness of that neon sign in the dimly lit room, making eye contact feel like you're under the unyielding gaze of Sauron's great eye. But what if we could dim that neon sign? That's exactly what your brain does when it employs the look anywhere but in the eyes dance we often do. It's like a natural dimmer switch for the salience of a threat. By avoiding eye contact, you're effectively saying to your brain, hey, that threatening thing? Let's just dim its lights a bit. This way, the anxiety-inducing social interaction becomes less overwhelming, and you're more at ease. Interestingly, this isn't a trait exclusive to humans. Have you ever noticed a dog closing its eyes or looking away when it knows it's done something naughty? That's our furry friend practicing its own version of salience reduction. By avoiding the threat of an angry owner's gaze, the dog is attempting to lessen its own anxiety. Their understanding might not be as sophisticated as ours, but it's a clear demonstration of this behavior. Moving beyond anxiety, this tactic of salience reduction is also used in another crucial area: problem solving. When faced with a complex issue, our gaze often wanders away, our eyes sometimes even shut. The reduction of visual stimuli allows our brain to channel more resources towards the problem at hand, facilitating better focus and problem-solving capacity. It's as if your brain is saying, "Okay, let's quiet down everything else so I can really focus on this problem." And often, it works. But to truly grasp this, let's talk a bit more about salience and the fascinating neurology behind it. Your brain is an expert at figuring out what's important, what's salient. This all starts in a small but powerful part of your brain called the reticular activating system, or RAS for short. The RAS acts as a filter of sorts, letting through only the information that it deems important and filtering out the rest. Think about the last time you were at a noisy party or in a crowded place. Remember how you were able to tune out most of the noise, but the moment someone mentioned your name, your attention was immediately drawn to it? That's your RAS at work. Now, when it comes to the processing of threatening stimuli, our good old amygdala jumps in. This almond-shaped part of our brain is a key player in our emotional responses, especially fear. When you spot a potential threat like a disapproving gaze, your amygdala lights up, signaling your body to go into a defensive mode. Another key player in this is the salience network of our brain. The salience network, which includes regions like the anterior insula and anterior cingulate cortex, works in tandem with the RAS and amygdala, evaluating the emotional significance of stimuli and guiding our responses accordingly. When you encounter a direct gaze, this network recognizes the salience of the moment and aids in the decision-making process of whether to hold the gaze or avoid it. The collaboration of your RAS, amygdala, and salience network elevates the importance of perceived threats, leading to a strong response, such as the urge to avoid eye contact. Knowing this, you can realize that your inclination to avoid eye contact isn't a flaw or a mistake. It's your brain's highly evolved mechanism striving to protect you from potential threats and cut you some slack so you can focus on the important. It's your brain flexing its survival skills, looking out for you in the subtlest of ways. Lastly, a word on the prefrontal cortex. This region of the brain, responsible for executive functions, plays a key role in deciding whether we maintain or break eye contact. You see, the prefrontal cortex is like the conductor of an orchestra. It oversees the activity of the other parts of the brain, guiding our behaviors and responses. When it comes to eye contact, our prefrontal cortex takes in all the inputs, from the salience network signaling the importance of the gaze to the amygdala flagging it as potentially threatening. It then makes a decision to maintain the gaze, acknowledging its significance, or to break it, aiming to reduce the perceived threat. The prefrontal cortex's ability to weigh in and determine our reactions is an example of top-down processing in action, where higher-level cognitive processes influence our responses to stimuli. This is why, even when you're feeling anxious or threatened, you can make a conscious decision to maintain eye contact and overrule your brain's signals. It's our brain's adaptability at work, a phenomenon we call neuroplasticity. The fact that we can learn, adapt, and change our behaviors in response to our environment is truly a marvel of the human brain. Just like any new habit or skill, learning to maintain eye contact when your instincts are screaming otherwise won't happen overnight. It's a process, a journey. There will be times when you'll want to revert to your old habits of looking away. That's okay. What matters is the conscious effort you're making to change that habit. Eye contact avoidance can be a handy tool for managing anxiety or focusing on complex tasks in the short term. It's not a long-term solution. Continually avoiding eye contact can impact your social interactions and even your self-confidence. It's a tool, not a solution. There are other more comprehensive and effective strategies to manage anxiety and enhance cognitive abilities, and here on Mind Artisan, you can further discover and understand them. From cognitive behavioral therapy to mindfulness techniques, there's a wealth of strategies that can provide more long-lasting benefits without needing a do not disturb sign for your eyes. So, the next time you catch yourself or someone else avoiding eye contact, you'll know what's going on. It's not rudeness. It's not disinterest. It's the brain being a crafty artisan. We hope this eye-opening journey into eye contact avoidance has shed some light on why we sometimes avoid looking people in the eyes and how it works in our minds. Craft your brain. Subscribe for more.